IPMNation.com.
Welcome back to Local Outbreak on the IPM Nation live station and 100.1 The Planet. This is Matt from IPM Nation. We are at the studio at 50 Canal Street in downtown Laconia. Come down, check it out. The studio, thestudionh.com is a website, and of course we do encourage people to shop here. Funky little gift shop and art gallery, and very cool place. Like I always say, please support your local businesses in addition to the local music scene. Very, very important, and we're very grateful to have this space every week to do the show. Of course, we are sponsored also by Central NH Events. If you need a DJ, go to centralnhevents.com. Tim Martin will DJ your event for you, and he does a great, great job. And, of course, also Tweak Sound and Mastering, Mr. Matt Marcil in Concord, New Hampshire. If you need some recording done, some engineering, producing, if you need someone to play on your music, Matt's one of those guys who can play multiple instruments, which I'm always jealous of. So tweaksound.com is the website. And we are joined, returning to the show, we were actually discussing off-air, trying to figure out when last time you were on was, but 8Bizza is with us. How are you,
What's
sir?
happening? Good to be back, everybody. I mean, it's been kind of like a rough day. I'm not going to get too deep into that, but I mean, I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be back for a second time and actually have something to promote this time.
Yeah,
so, it's always a pleasure, obviously. And
your name's come up on the show recently. Who was it that was
Cody Pope?
Cody Pope was talking about you. Yeah,
I was when I started working with him and stuff. Like in the back of my brain, it was actually, I think it was actually either around the time I started working with him or a little before. But I came up here and I, had done the interview with you.
Yeah.
And I had always been mentioning it to other people that, were in the area, that I know that did music. Like, you need to come check out IPM Nation and, come talk to Matt. And, I mean, honestly, I was glad that I was able to, bestow that upon him. Like, hey, check this out. You need to check this out for more, So I'm glad that, that ended up working out and stuff. So.
Yeah, I really enjoyed having him on. And thank you
he's
for
been a
big
big help in music side of things, especially within the last year or so.
Cool. So have you guys in what way? What have you guys been working on?
We actually have kind of come working a lot more together in terms of like business side of things as well as musically. Because we actually have events that go down in Pelham, New Hampshire, once or twice a month on Fridays, and we're actually going to start having them on Thursdays that alternate.
Oh, no kidding.
And basically, it's a way to get more music that obviously get our own stuff out there as well, but like get other artists in the area that need gigs and all that. It's a different experience than like your typical hip hop show, because we try to add like more of more of an entertainment than just some people getting up on stage and rapping. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Right.
But, we try to, bring something a little bit more to the table. Like we don't feel that there's enough of that around, and we're trying to kind of bring back some of that aesthetic.
Where in Pelham?
Where the Carlo Rose, have you ever heard of that? Cigar and hookah bar.
Okay, yep.
I actually did a gig a year and a half to almost 2 years ago where I was DJing. At the time, I still DJ from time to time, and not as much as I'd like, because it makes good money doing that stuff.
Yeah.
But basically, like I was doing a DJ gig there for them, and I got to do a set and everything like that, and it was really a lot going on at the time, and it was an awesome place. I was like, oh, we got to try to do something, and things just didn't pan off for a bit. I didn't get back to them until something happened, and like they really weren't getting as much business, and we ended up coming back and hey. We're looking for a venue. They needed people to fill a spot, and the rest is history. Now, we're starting to have, volumes of people coming in every time we have events. So
nice.
It's kind of like that, that underdog story kind of
thing.
You know what I mean? Because, every other time I would have, gigs where I'd be involved in it, there wouldn't be that many. It would maybe 20 people tops.
Sure,
it's nice to see, people are actually interested.
Oh, that's really cool.
So, no.
Good. Well, let's play something, then we'll come back and catch up.
I'll break down more of that because there's a lot more to talk about than just the one. You know?
Cool, yeah.
Of course. Yeah.
You brought a bunch of tunes with you. What do you want
I
to play?
brought a lot.
Start?
Well, since I was talking about my album, we might as well just go with the title track to start. Old Buick Music featuring my man Chatham the Sun, who also dropped something not too long ago. King Stay Blessed. If you haven't heard that, you need to check that out as well.
Cool. All right, so this is the title track, Old Buick Music?
Old Buick Music.
All right, so this is Old Buick Music from 8BZA here on Local Outbreak on IPM Nation.
Like the sun went in the east and rising, riding through the scene. I keep my cipher complete. Hold me down, son.
I'll hold you down.
It's that old Buick music for you when you're riding around.
Peace, like the sun went in the east. A lot of cats forget the spelling, but the hyphen completes. Hold me down, son.
I'll hold you down.
It's that old Buick music for you when you're riding around.
Man, things haven't been the same. Grinding on the come up, I crept when I came. While they tried to one up, just effed in the brain. Don't worry about the next man, affect your own change. Man, the heck with the rain. Hit the blinker, I left my lane and take an adventure through traffic just to test my aim. High speed, dodging dodges, I left in flames. In the rear view, nothing is the same. Reflecting on catching wreck with some strange neck game. Insane records play while I regulate. It's now etched in my brain. Steering wheel gripping, whipping off, intuition lifted. This is my rendition of being driven. Slow motion all around me. James Bond on the side of a cliff with an ocean that surrounds me. This is getting deep, so I need to play for keeps before I beast. Even though it's war, I pray for peace. Peace, like the sun went in the east and rising, riding through the scene. I keep my cipher complete. Hold me down, son.
I'll hold you down.
It's that old Buick music for you when you're riding around.
Peace, like the sun went in the east. A lot of cats forget the spelling, but the hyphen completes. Hold me down, son.
I'll hold you down.
It's that old Buick music for you when you're riding around. I woke up early on my born day, only half my friends remember. For the remainder of show me just where I measured. The storms I weathered while enduring this transient stage. It had me Henry Rollins on his way back to the cage. But I'm just trying to remain someone in a meditative state throughout the course of the day. I'm in a medicated state by the exact stroke of 8. Not a minute late, like I'm expecting a blind date. Feeling great, like I've been left on a charge for the day. Reborn, like a spark, the inspiration came. Money starting to end up in my hot little hands. Starting to invest more in myself, enhancing my brand. I know I've got a ways before I can leave this popsicle stand, so I need to make it livable in the meantime. But damn, the stress level got me, and everybody got me. But now I'm not throwing my hands, I just gotta keep it.
Peace, like the sun went in the east and rising, riding through the scene. I keep my cipher complete. Hold me down, son.
I'll hold you down.
It's that old Buick music for you when you're riding around.
Peace, like the sun went in the east. A lot of cats forget the spelling, but the hyphen completes. Hold me down, son.
I'll hold you down.
It's that old Buick music for you when you're riding around.
Local Outbreak on IPM Nation. We're at the studio in downtown Laconia tonight with Cody Pope. I'm sorry, not Cody Pope. 8BZA. We were talking about Cody Pope.
I think you got confused because we both have beards. That's why I got rid of the mustache. You know, and I'm also not like 17 feet tall.
Right,
you know,
right.
I'm not Paul Bunyan.
He is a tall man.
He is a very tall man.
Well, not only that, but I'm looking at the back of your disc and I'm seeing one of the tracks, which I guess we'll play later. Cool Story Bro featuring Cody Pope. So I'm looking right at his name.
That's another one of my favorites on the album too, because it just ended up. We had a lot to gripe about in the time, and it was perfect opportunity. Let's do a track about it. So.
Yeah. So I like the track here, the title of the album, Old Buick Music, and I like the cover art. And what inspired that?
All right. So this is like. Originally, I kind of just came up with the name, and I kind of realized, like, as time went on, how much, like, Buicks kind of had, like, a role in my life, although I never actually owned one. Like, I was always, like, for the longest time, I didn't drive. Yeah. And I was always, like, that kid, like, I'd done music since I was, like, 12 years old. I wasn't that good for, like, a long, long time. But I was always that kid that would have, like, CDR or tape at the time, whatever it was, on me of my stuff, and a lot of my friends happened to drive Buicks. Yeah. And I'd said this actually on Craig Mosher's show, The Graveyard Shift, a couple weeks ago. Shout out to him. He does it on Sundays or Saturdays rather. It might as well be Sundays because it's late night. But but I was mentioning that I was like, yeah, it basically a lot of the times I was with friends of mine who were always driving Buicks and I had music and we would listen to stuff and it, he had mentioned too because I'd send him some of the tracks like he kind of had that feel like it was like the 90s like in the car driving around
Sure.
like that kind of feel to it.
Yeah.
And I didn't really make too much of a specific to this when I actually finished the album up, but I actually tried to master it somewhat like a classic style that people used to put it to tape and then back into digital.
Yeah.
I basically went and I put that to tape and then back to digital to master it. And
Oh, that's cool.
it kind of gives that more warmth to it, But,
Yeah. That's good. Because today a lot of things sound so digital,
Yeah.
for lack of a better word,
Well, especially I don't know if you were a D'Angelo fan or not, but if you had heard the new album he had put out not too long ago, the Black Messiah.
I haven't heard any of it. I know it
I've
got
been
really
listening.
good.
I finally was
reviews.
able to get myself a copy because I didn't want to be one of those guys like, oh, I need to get that and just go and download it. I want to
Right.
actually buy the CD
Yeah.
because I've been a D'Angelo fan for a long time, and
Yeah.
it was one of those things like, all right, when I heard this was coming out and it was like out of nowhere, I was like, oh, eventually I have to pick that up.
Yeah.
But I'd read in the liner notes he did the same thing, and basically there were no real plugins involved. They recorded it all out and then back in to basically have that.
Okay.
And that's kind of where I think the essence is like kind of lost with a lot of digital stuff.
Yeah.
And I agree with that. I told you last time, and I'd slipped for a little bit, but now I'm kind of like pretty gung ho about not sampling anymore. Just
Yeah.
because like I really was like kind of getting like used to going back and just finding stuff.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
But at the same time, like when I did this, is like I really wanted this to sound like everything you heard. Like it didn't, maybe it might sound like a sample, but for the most part, minus like 2 of the beats on there, like it's me doing the beats. Like I really only sampled on like 2 or 3 songs, maybe.
No
tops.
kidding, wow.
And even then, I think like one of them was like maybe like 20% samples.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I feel like that's kind of where a lot of the art's like coming back to as well, because like as I'm sure like vinyl's making a resurgence.
Oh yeah.
You know, and that's that's a huge thing. But at the same time, it's like I was when I was mentioning how like I work with Cody a lot. Basically we were talking about how like vinyl it's so popular now that like the main vinyl site is like they're not taking any orders for a while because
Wow.
they can't. There's just no
Yeah.
way they can fill the demand, and that's amazing to me.
Yeah.
That like at the same time it also stinks because it's like, what do we do when we're gonna be able to start getting our vinyls pressed up? Is it gonna be all set by then, or
Right.
are we still gonna have to because I think he said he was gonna try to put a project out like that, and, now he's like gonna be, I don't know what to do.
It's interesting because 10 years ago, if you had said to somebody, if you had described to them
Yeah.
the problem that you just described, people would tell you you're crazy.
I know, back then I was like spending all my money on vinyl instead of investing in getting it pressed. I probably
Right.
would have had a little bit better of a time with it. Although back then, 10 years ago, I wouldn't say my music is as good as it is now. I can actually listen to myself and not cringe. That's a sign that you're doing something right at this point. 'Cause
Yeah.
I'm my own worst critic. So
But yeah, nothing sounds better than vinyl. And
seriously,
a lot of people don't realize too. If you go, vinyl sounds better than a CD, and a
Yeah.
CD sounds better than an MP3, and
Right. And I
people
even
don't realize-
noticed that. Like, in the same regard. When I got my CD back, I just listened to it just to see what it would be the difference. And like I heard every single little nuance that like
Yeah.
I couldn't hear when I pressed it down.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
That's really cool. Buicks have I'm not a car guy, but Buicks
Right.
definitely have a certain look to them.
Yeah.
I had a
Pitmobile. It's a Pitmobile.
Yeah, I had a Buick Skyhawk. It was,
right
it was
on.
a piece of crap. I don't know if you. I'd never even heard of a Skyhawk until I bought one. It's like a Skylark, just
Yeah.
like a step down or something.
It's not quite a Firebird, but
Yeah, it was a piece of crap, really.
Right?
But they do. They have a certain look about them. So
it's
yeah,
funny.
I
They're
think-
like luxury pieces of crap. That's like
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
what the whole appeal is, I guess, to them. Like my homie DJ Myth, who actually DJs pretty much all of our MLC events, and we're gonna when we start doing the other ones.
Yeah, I know,
he's
Myth.
gonna
I
be
haven't,
involved.
I haven't seen him in forever, but
Yeah, he's a good dude. He was actually supposed to do a beat on this project, but it never
no
ended
kidding.
up happening because
Wow.
time just didn't end up working out. But I'll end up doing old music too at some point, I'm sure. So
Yeah.
he'll get it. He'll get his chance because he has a Buick still, and he was like, as soon as I told him the title, he was like, "That's awesome."
Geez, I don't think I've seen him in probably 6 years. So it's
I
good,
think
good
I
to
have
know
to get
that.
you to start coming to some of these MLC events.
Yeah,
man.
yeah, no kidding. Yeah.
Idiosyncratic.
Yeah, wow.
Get down with it.
Absolutely. So, and this is, of course, a full length. How many tracks are on here?
There's 12.
12, okay.
Yeah,
And
I try to keep it short too, even though like there's 12 tracks, it still is under 50 minutes.
Oh, no kidding. Okay.
So.
Yeah, because a lot of people today, I'm always curious too what goes into the decision as far as the length of what you put out, because a lot of people now will only put out an EP,
short attention spans,
or even just release, just singles.
Not to be disrespectful, but short attention spans, myself included. I mean,
yeah.
I've realized that like a lot of times now, like I'll try to put in like a 20-song album, and I can only really listen to the first 10 songs before I'm at my destination or even close to my destination, unless it's like a long trip when I got to drive to Maine for work or whatever.
Sure.
You know what I mean? But it's like, and that's no disrespectful to to that artist. It's just whenever something like that, I just can't, that's why we make the shorter projects now. And I mean, a lot of I mean, I used to put out 20. I mean, actually, one of the CDs I gave you is at least 20-something songs.
Yeah, you came in with a few
19,
things, and
maybe 19.
There's
the one,
9.
isn't it?
Yeah, there's 19 on this.
Yeah, I used to just be like heavy into it, but I just
The day Tim forgot his helmet.
Shout out to
that's a great cover.
Shout out to Man in the Mask from Masterpiece, because he actually came up with the title of that for me, and I ended up deciding and using that.
That's awesome.
That's one of his favorites, because he was just involved in that regard.
Yeah.
But and that same, I also have Joey B from Masterpiece on Old Buick Music, so it's like full circle.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? But
we just we just put into rotation on IPM Nation that Fatal Blow, Joey B and Jay Faith, which is.
Yeah, I gotta give Joey B a lot of credit, because like he went down to South by Southwest, and he's been grinding heavy.
Yeah.
He's got like models modeling his shirts and stuff, and
good for him.
His, yoga pants and his drawers, and God knows what else he's hustling. But I got to give him credit for that. And I don't know very many other artists that are working as hard as he is, except for some guys I work with. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's just he's getting himself out there, and it's great to see that. So I give him a lot of respect for that.
No, that's really cool. He's a talented guy.
Definitely.
And you also brought and you've got Strictly
Business is actually
Business,
my sophomore album. I guess
Okay.
you could probably call it an EP, but I mean it's it's like 10
No,
songs.
I was gonna say it's a full length to me.
Yeah,
and
I never really know what an EP constitutes, if it's like under 40 minutes or if it's 7 songs, 6, whatever it is. I just kind of like call it what it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean that's my sophomore. That one was like around the time I was still kind of finding myself. That's when Bobby Botox actually came to be. It was I finally started to realize, like, tighten up the flow, make it a lot more hard for artists to catch up on.
Okay, now I got to ask you to explain that, Bobby Botox. And by the way,
tight flow, maybe.
Looking at the license plate too on the anybody who's online who can go and look at the check out the cover art. This is online, I assume now, right?
It is on. Yes, I have it streaming on Audio Mac and also on SoundCloud.
Yeah,
and you can also stream it, and you can buy it on Bandcamp, because I wanted to at least get it up there for now. I've been trying to like scramble to get the rest of iTunes and all that stuff, but it's not going as fast as I'd like. So I wanted to at least make it available in some way, shape, or form. So
is the cover art online?
The cover art is online.
Okay, cool. Yeah,
I tried to put as much of the details that I could.
Yeah,
with, since you don't have the actual cover on you could at least read all the information.
Yeah. People gotta take a look at this, because it's just really, really cool. I like when I see something that's just original and interesting, because so much cover art is just garbage. You know what I mean?
And this thing is like, I mean, I'm trying to not be the guy to do all my own covers, but I mean, I also
why not though?
I also see, like, a lot of times if like I go and pick an album up, if like something's just not right to me, like I'll listen to it, but I might not feel 100%, like, as opposed to like if it's something that's all put together and packaged and stuff like that.
Right.
And it's tough to do everything yourself. That's why I'm glad I have a team now that I work with that's gonna help me with that. So it kind of lighten the load. You know what I mean?
Oh, totally.
Shout out Vatican Life. That's my people.
Oh yeah. Yep. What is okay? So what is Bobby? Is that like a character? Is it like
it's an alias, just like
kind of like Eminem has
else.
Slim Shady? That
basically it's a moniker. Just I have too many monikers. You know what I mean? But basically it's just to sum up. I always have like a tight package, tight flow.
Yeah,
production is there. You know what I mean? Like that's pretty much where I kind of gathered it from.
Okay.
8 bizza just means infinitely banking 0 assets. So,
right,
because I'm always broke. And a lot of the times it's my own fault.
Yeah, for now, it won't always
not
be
forever.
That way.
Hopefully, we'll see.
It won't always be that way.
People are liking the album. Hopefully, more people buy it online. I mean, they've been buying it at shows. I appreciate that.
We played. I remember last time you were on. In fact, we put it in rotation too on the IPM Nation Ratchet.
Yeah.
I remember telling you too. That's
still
favorite of mine.
Still holds true because there's still ratchets out
love
there.
that.
It's
Love that track.
It seems like it's getting worse and worse. It's scaring me, man. I mean, I'm at the point of like I was kind of like coming to like terms with like a lot of my own problems. Like as many artists, I have problems with the females.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like a lot of I'll either have ones that are like not ready or they're completely insane.
Right.
You know what I mean? And like unfortunately, I dated some ratchets. I'm not gonna name any names, but you are.
Right.
You're probably not listening anyway, so it's neither here nor there.
And if you don't know what that means, you can look it up on Urban Dictionary.
Yeah, exactly.
Anybody listening?
I just tell people Google it. You know what I mean? A lot of times there's the options are there.
Yeah.
Not to be rude.
Right.
But no, I mean I've kind of like realized that like that's kind of where a lot of my problems are. It's like because the females are insane, and a lot of times the fact that there's more ratchets in the world, it's harder for me to like kind of get the guts to want to go back out there and try again. I guess you could say. I don't know. It's just crazy to me, man. But.
Well, why don't we play another track from Old Buick Music? What do you want to play?
Why don't we mention? We were mentioning Cool Story, bro. We might as well
Okay.
throw that out there. especially since I mentioned Vatican Life and Cody Pope.
Cool. All right. Yeah. So this is
Cody Poop. Sorry,
Cool Story, bro. From
he's gonna kill me for that. I just know it.
From 8 Bizza, featuring Cody Pope here on Local Outbreak on IPM Nation.
Alright, so I'll admit, I haven't always been on top of my game, but you know what? I improved on myself. I can't say the same for a lot of these motherfuckers just claiming they're doing this shit. They already see that this shit's a game, so it's already strike one right there. But like, for real, I know I'm making all these big ass moves, but you're in the same place. What are you doing? You know we all have friends that play big shots, that claim the next scheme will prove that they can fill spots like, this is our year, echoing last year, and several past years, but never do their plans clear. Cool story, bro, but it's falling on deaf ears. Why invest in you when you don't even, is it fair? They sniff to no end because another's shining. There ain't no honor in talking, the next man grinding. Meanwhile, even major labels are guilty of lying, paying for YouTube views, but now it's backfiring. The bottom feed is leeches until there's no integrity left. Playing pretend, clogging paths a little more in depth. I've seen cats hanging up once they tie the knot and have kids, but that means I'm moving up a spot. I gotta pick up the slack for the cuck and it lack. That's why so many of my verses sound like attacks. I was in misery until I found the company. Now I'm at executive level with many under me. Ginger beer in the green bottles. Order a couple pizzas working full throttle. No, not playing PS4. There's no time to
Welcome to Outbreak on IPM Nation. This is Matt from IPM Nation. We're here at the studio in downtown Laconia at 50 Canal Street, and we're talking with 8Bizza. And, okay, I got to ask you about this. You also handed me a DVD.
Yep.
A Sea of Green is the title.
Shout out to Mr. DL, the director. Wrote the story and several other things that are involved in the credits that you'll see when you pop it in.
Yeah. Now, this is a full-length feature film?
That is a full-length feature film. That took years. I kind of feel like I'm not doing it justice explaining it because I'm not Mr. DL. He could explain this a lot better than I could. But, I mean, it was basically I'll explain how I got into the movie because that's probably the best story I could tell because it's hilarious as well because it was more along the lines of just being at the right place in the right time. I went online. I had already linked up with Mr. DL because a fellow artist from New England, part of the Wolves, Dramatic, shout out to him as well. He had a song that I did production on called Bastardly. I don't know if I can say that on the air because it's a song or not.
Yeah, you can. Yeah.
But, I ended up producing that, and he wanted to do a video for it, and I was looking for directors at the time. I didn't really know anybody to talk to, and I didn't know, if it was in my budget. Yeah. At the time, I got lucky because, favor for a favor, we ended up getting it done. But we ended up working with Mr. DL. That came out great. I had a great time with it, and I'd done some other videos, along the lines, played cameos, and actually done videos with him since that. But I'd seen online he was talking about he needed a few people to play detectives in the movie.
Yeah.
And I'd heard him talking about the movie a little bit. I didn't pay as much attention as I would about anything else, but obviously when I got involved, I did. And I was like, oh, you need somebody to play. I always kind of enjoyed being on camera. I didn't really, as much as I thought I knew my acting ability, I didn't really know it until I got on the screen. And then,
Sure.
I got better as time went on. Oh, hey, how you doing? Sorry, there's a beautiful woman outside. Anyway, so, I didn't really have as much, ability as I thought I did when I got into it. But when as time went on, it got better. And, I really enjoyed the time. But I just basically hit him up. He said he needed 4 people. And I was like, do you still need people? And he's like, what's your schedule? I told him my schedule. He made it happen, and, I got to shoot a few of this, quite a few scenes in that. I was in a lot more than I thought I was going to be in.
Oh, no kidding. Oh, cool.
I'm spread out throughout the movie. I'm not in it, super long in a lot of scenes, but, with one of the biggest scenes, I'm in it for a lot longer than, the rest of it. But
wow.
And that's as much as not given away as possible. But, it was a really good experience. I wish I could have met a lot more of the artists that, have higher billing in there than I did, but...
Yeah.
Just the fact that I can say hey, I was in a movie with Sticky Fingers and Be Real and, all the Sabercell, all the Onyx, I should say, Ed OG, so many people. Rockness Monster. I could go on. I don't want to give too much away, but, there's a lot of people I could shout out. I really should shout out. Big ones, though, is shout out to Alias, shout out to Dramatic. And obviously, shout out to Mr. DL. And shout out to my man John Regal. And that's not to discredit anybody else in the cast, but I feel they all gave amazing performances in that. And Alias cracked me up the whole time.
Really?
And even when some of the serious parts, obviously I wasn't laughing with some of the stuff, but because there's some funny parts in there, but it's like a dramedy.
Okay. That's
the best way. In this podcast I was just hearing with DL was just on. I forget the name of the people that he was interviewed by. My apologies to them, but I had heard them say dramedy, and that's a pretty accurate term for it because it's there's some tragedy to it, but there's also some hilarity to it. So it's a nice balance.
Now, when did this come out?
Oh man, I can't even remember the date now because I smoked too much. I apologize.
That's all right.
But it was at least under a year ago.
Oh, okay. So it's pretty new.
Yeah, it isn't too long ago.
I think I remember. I think I remember when you were here before, actually mentioning something about being in a film.
Yeah, I think I might have just started talking about acting in it, or I might have at least done one of the scenes or something like that, or a couple scenes from it.
Yeah.
But it was happening for a good portion of last couple years.
Yeah.
At this point.
Where was it filmed?
Well, the parts that I was in were all shot in Lowell.
Okay.
But he shot parts in Vermont, I guess. He shot a lot of parts in California. Primarily Humboldt County, because that's a big that's a big staple of the film.
Sure.
But Boston and I think he said parts of Maine too. I'm not 100% accurate about where some of the other spots were, but the predominant shots were Lowell and in California.
Okay.
And, but some amazing cinematics in there, and like I said, the cast alone is insane to just be hey. You know, and I don't think he had to pay a dime to any of those people.
No
which is
kidding.
even
Wow.
better.
That's cool.
It was like favor for a favor type, which is even better.
So now that you've done a film, I mean, are you?
I want to do more. I mean,
Yeah.
it's more along the lines of like I know what I have to do to do it, but it's just like getting it there, getting
Right,
to that
right.
point, and
Oh, sure,
having
yeah.
the time to do it. I'm basically just, you know, I'm focusing on stuff I need to focus on right now, and I know like the next opportunity that comes out, I'm not going to pass up the chance. I'm going to definitely
Right.
do it.
Right. Good for you.
You know,
That's
it was
awesome.
a fun
yeah.
time. I mean, I'm hungry right now, so I mean, if anybody wants me to cameo with something, I'm with it. you know?
Sure, sure. That's really cool. That's really cool. Now, your new CD, Old Buick Music. Where did you record that?
I actually recorded all of the stuff that I did in it, with the exception of like the collaborations with some of them at my own studio.
Okay. Yeah, because it does say on the back here, all songs produced by 8BZA, all songs mixed and mastered by 8BZA.
Yeah,
that's
I got
unusual.
into
Good for
the
you.
point. I've always mixed my stuff, but I never
Yeah.
really mastered it.
Yeah.
Per se. Like, I mean, there was, with the exception, like, I don't know if I gave you a copy of the Terrible Threes or if I had any at the time, like, on my person, because I really wasn't that good about keeping those on me. But
Okay,
I had
yeah.
that one mastered at Wonka Sound. Bob Nash, he's a pretty iconic. I should use that word loosely, but. A lot of times, you know, like artists will tend to go to him to get it mastered. A lot of known artists and mass will go to him to get stuff mastered. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I wanted to, you know, that was also a lot of that was, you know, kind of influenced with Trapjaw, because the person that helped me to pretty much engineer the whole thing, Duke Cutter, is a Trapjaw affiliate. So,
Okay.
and I had a few Trapjaw affiliates on the project, so I wanted to do it justice by having them on it. I didn't want it to, you know, sound like crap.
Yeah, yeah.
So, but I mean, in retrospect, it still didn't sound as good as this one probably does sound to somebody that has, you know, more of a studio ear and like kind of,
Yeah.
you know, knows when stuff might need to be turned down.
Sure,
you know
sure.
What I mean? Because I mean, I've been working at this for quite a while, but even like with a lot of the times when I went to studios and watched people work and stuff like that, it wasn't, you know, I didn't really completely grasp the whole like never boost, always cut. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that was really kind of where I ran into a lot of problems because I wasn't doing that. You know?
Yeah.
Now that also gave me a lot of a headache doing this project too, because there was a lot of times where like I didn't know what the frequency was that was like too loud, and I'm sure
Sure.
there's probably still something that might be a little off. But I actually when I got an email, I know Cody mentioned him on the air last time he was on, but I actually did a track not too long ago it hasn't been released yet. It's going to be released as a single with Decap, who's another producer that was originally from New Hampshire, lives in Cali right now, doing big things.
Yeah.
And he actually texted me as soon as he had heard the album, and he gave me a lot of respect. He's like,
Oh,
"Dude, your
cool.
album sounds dope." And I hit him up. I was like, well, how does it sound level wise? I mean, because that's like the first thing I always wonder with somebody
Sure.
that, you know, knows what they're doing. And he's like, it sounded good to me.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that's good enough for me. I mean, I didn't blow any speakers in my car, you know, playing that. It was other stuff.
Right.
But,
Yeah, that's really cool because, like I said, I never see that where someone's come in and completely recorded and mixed and mastered.
yeah. Well,
their
I
own
mean, I'm
stuff.
getting to that
I mean,
point too, where like, as you know, I didn't really get too deep into mentioning, but Cody and I are working on eventually to open up a studio.
Nice.
Probably in the summer, it's gonna, you know,
Wow.
hopefully get, you know, ready to go. You know, we're working on getting it cleaned out now. I don't want to get into how gross it is right now, but oh my god. Anyway, though, we were, you know, like I said, planning on opening up a studio, and we're kind of trying to be more self-reliant, whereas you know, we're doing everything in house, not having to rely on as many people outside of what we do. And since I've been doing this as long as I have, I might as well be, you know, at least halfway decent about, you know, knowing what level should be at this point.
Yeah.
Because I've been doing it for, you know, I don't even remember when I got to starting to work with digital stuff. But I mean, obviously it's way different than working with analog, but
Right.
you know, it makes a big difference, and it's a lot easier to mess up with digital than it is with analog.
Right. No, I hear what you're saying.
Simple and plain.
Definitely. Well, let's play another track from the new disc, Old Buick Music. What do you want to play?
I guess we should probably get into Broken Headlight. I don't want to play All Three Eyes yet and bum anybody out, because that's kind of like, and it's the album on a sad note, so I might as well end the show on a sad note. So yeah, I think we should play Broken Headlight. Shout out to Dirty Dan for the beat. Time and Lep are artists from New England. I want to say New Hampshire, but I don't even think they're both from New Hampshire. But they basically, that's their homie. that I ended up meeting him when they had done a show with us at one of the MLCs, and he makes amazing beats. He's from Nashua.
Yeah.
I didn't know there were other producers that were as good as he is around where I'm at, but I was grateful to work with him. The track, I'm happy with how the track came out. It's one of my favorites on the album, and a lot of people seem to enjoy it. So,
all right, cool. Let's take a listen. So this is Broken Headlight, produced by Dirty Dan. This is from the new 8BZA CD, Old Buick Music, here on Local Outbreak on IPM Nation.
I mean, cats really should just be standing in lanes. I mean, the vision's not 100. They got low visibility. It's a foggy night. I don't know. You driving around with a broken headlight. I'm yelling for ditto. You driving around with a broken headlight. You gotta get your vision right. Yeah. How come so many suckers can't drive? It makes me worry if I'ma survive. I can't be sharing the same lane with the lame going below the limit in the fast lane. I'm a tailgate and run the risk of causing a crash lane. Now I'm on the right to pass, cause I've got a right to pass. But cats on their own time, no regard for the outside world. Nope, not a dime. And I don't take a bit kindly to that kind of slime. In every mission there's a well-placed roadblock. For every advancement that's got you working off the clock. And if you ain't a night owl, you might want a different profession. Being the best you can be has gotta be treated like it's an obsession. Everlast called it a fun job. Keyword, job. You gotta work for accolades. Some would just rather rob, and that's unfortunate. Honesty's the best policy. Unless you're talking to policia. Honestly, I don't answer questions. I'm yelling for ditto. You driving around with a broken headlight. I'm yelling for ditto. You driving around with a broken headlight. You driving around with a broken headlight. I'm yelling for ditto. You driving around with a broken headlight. You driving around with a broken headlight. I'm yelling for ditto. You driving around with a broken headlight. You gotta get your vision right. You driving around with a broken headlight. They already issued you a warning, so you had the time to make it right. But of course you neglected and negated, and of course berated the messenger. And it's not good to thrive on hatred, but for whatever reason cats choose to be masochists. I don't approve of their practices. No bread broke amongst savages. That's horse before the carriage. Been there, done that. Learned my lesson, got the t-shirt. Now I'm passing. I've got hundreds of rhymes for that, but ain't nobody got time for that. At least I don't got the time. I got my mind on where I'm trying to be at. It's hard to see with blue blockers and a spinal tap, but it got healthy, you got clear vision in the process. Now it's a wrap. Stay in distraction and sucker free in the luxury of no company, unless I'm out working or building and puffing on occasionally a bar trip and fun's all woe is me, wherever stupid chicks can't find me to fall in lust with me. Honestly, it's okay, cause I'm yelling for ditto. They driving around with a broken headlight. I'm yelling for ditto. They driving around with a broken headlight. They driving around with a broken headlight. I'm yelling for ditto. You driving around with a broken headlight. You driving around with a broken headlight. Seriously, get that this shit. You might get a ticket for that. You gotta get your vision right. Pigs don't play, man.
Local Outbreak on IPM Nation. This is Matt from IPM Nation. We're here at the studio. Our guest this week is 8BZA. And before we start to wrap up, I just want to remind everybody, of course, that Local Outbreak can be heard every Saturday night, a new episode every Saturday night at 9 p.m., and then a replay on Wednesday at 7 p.m. on both 100.1 The Planet if you're in central New Hampshire. And, of course, you can also stream it on the IPM Nation live station. So, and then we do archive all the shows afterward at ipmnation.com/local outbreak. Going all the way back to the beginning. I think we've been doing this for, 6 years now. I kind of lost track, but it's been a hell of a long time. And
6 years is a long time.
It is a long time for a show like this. Most local shows don't last that.
That's
that
about
long.
as long as my friendship seemed to last.
Really? Yeah. There you go.
We cut a lot of people off at the end of 2014. It made me sad.
Yeah,
but it's it happens.
That could be the new tagline for Local Outbreak. Local Outbreak lasts longer than 8Biz's friendships.
Or relationships.
Or relationships. That'd look great on a T-shirt.
That would look terrible in my life, though.
And, of course, we do record the show here every week at the studio at 50 Canal Street in downtown Laconia. And we are sponsored, of course, by Central NH Events and Tweak Sound and Mastering. And so what do you have coming up? You got tell us again, remind us about the is it Thursdays in Pelham?
Well, there's Thursdays and Fridays. The Thursdays are going to start happening soon.
Oh, cool. Okay.
But Fridays, we have them like twice a month or once or twice a month. It's called Misery Loves Company. Just look us up on Facebook, add the page, like the page. We also have Done Blog, which is a blog that we tried to have is anybody in New England that does, anything music or anything related to art or whatever in the community.
Yeah.
Submit to doneblogNE@gmail.com. That's done, DONEBLOGNE @gmail.com.
Okay.
And, doesn't matter what type of genre of music, doesn't matter what form of art, whatever it is, if you have something to contribute, we want to know about it.
Cool.
We're trying to tell more people about, the community in general we have,
Yeah.
I'm learning about a lot of artists I didn't know about beforehand, and it's nice to, to learn new stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Stuck, just listening to the stuff I listen to, like New D'Angelo. I need a break from that sometimes. It's a good album, but I don't want to just listen to Black Messiah all day.
Right. Are you going to be touring at all outside of the area? You got anything coming up? Or?
Well, we were talking about trying to get something going on during the summer, like the end of the summer, like a mid region tour or something like that.
Sure.
Down parts of New England, parts of like the the Midwest, down south, whatever we can get as far as we can within like a week or two. But we're still working that out, so I don't get too deep into that yet. But other than that, I mean, we're just working on the the shows and everything like that. I have as well as obviously the MLCs and all that. I have June 6th at Panucci's down in Manchester.
Oh, nice.
I'm going to be opening for EMS.
Oh, cool.
So that's going to be a good time.
Very cool.
The homie Nefarious spinning on the wheels. That's.
Do they at Panucci's? Do they usually do hip hop or is this...
They do. I mean, they've done hip hop. They've done other rock and stuff like that. I don't know like what realm of like they draw the line at. But I mean, I've heard of them doing rock and hip hop shows.
Oh, okay.
So, and
cool.
I've done a few shows there with them. So.
Oh, good. Okay.
And I enjoy the venue. I enjoy the people there. Brandon, the BK, he supports me heavily. The last time I wasn't even performing, he was wearing an 8Biz shirt. I gotta give him respect for that. I might have a few on my car too. If I got any left, I'll definitely slide you one before I leave.
Cool.
Especially because I'm trying to get rid of them because I want to get some new ones done.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Where's the best place for people to go online to keep up with everything? You're doing?
I just actually not too long ago actually got up 8bizza.com. I don't post on it as much as I should, but I'm working on getting more stuff up as time progresses, even if it's just like some tidbits about how my life stinks or whatever, or whatever it is, because that's pretty much where I'm going in the realm of music now. But there's that. I post stuff up on my SoundCloud a lot.
Yeah.
And just check me out on my Facebook, 8Bizza. Just look me up, 8-BZA. That's pretty much the central intelligence of where you're gonna find what I post up on stuff. So.
Cool. Well, this has been great.
It's always a pleasure, man. I got to try to make it up here more often.
Yeah.
I got to have more stuff to promote soon. So when that happens, obviously I'll give you a holler.
Yeah.
It's not going to be a
definitely.
year like it was.
Yeah. Well, plus you got the, once you guys get that recording studio open, too, we
definitely.
can have you up to talk about that certainly, because that's a big
deal.
deal.
I have to drag Cody up for that for sure.
That'd be cool. To have both you guys on at the same time. That'd be really cool. Yeah.
I know we have projects where we're finishing up, and we're eventually probably have to come up with that anyway. So
sure.
I'm sure either way you'll see me.
Yeah, definitely. All right. So. Well, we'll play one more track from Old Buick Music. What do you want to play?
Right on. Well, the only other one I got left is All Three Eyes. That one is actually co-produced by my man Lou Showers. He played guitar on it. And I did everything else on it. But that's kind of like the summary of why I'm screwed up. I want to say effed up. But just basically the story of how nobody really pays attention, so I'm just going about my business kind of mentality. That's pretty much like the theme of most of the album is I'm depressed about life and kind of just being a loner, being a hermit.
Right.
I should have just called it old hermit music. Old hermit music even. Close enough.
Sure.
That'll be the mixtape.
There you go. All right, cool. So we'll finish up with All
old
Three
hermit
Eyes.
featuring Kermit.
Yeah. All Three Eyes from 8Bizza here on Local Outbreak on IPM Nation.
Shout out to Lou Showers on the guitar. Had to get that in there, homie. This one's from the heart, like most of my ish. Just listen. As I get in my car, in the morning I realize I no longer know anybody in my neighborhood. It's been years, so the awkwardness is too great for me to introduce myself to people I'd probably hate. It's kinda Swedish when you start liking reclusiveness. If you wanna remain social, just avoid abuse of it. I had a spot I used to go where I could booze a bit, but fuck that up when I got played by some losers. Same story, never did I say I was a pimp for the record, but still I tried displaying effort. I have no time for the entitled and the good for nothings, except looking like they're ready for a certain something. PTSD from the past failed 3 or 4, which I could take back and come up from them 3 or 4, but they hardly counted cause my mental was dirt from the floor. Wish I could say I wasn't not giving a fuck no more. But I don't trust y'all, so I just drive. Striving for perfection, I think it on the side, but I gotta keep all 3 eyes on the prize. You know what I mean? Cause I don't trust y'all, so I just drive. Striving for perfection, I take it on the side, but I gotta keep all 3 eyes on the prize. Yeah. I was never one to live in the past. I just have a hard time trusting the last now. So I got the steering wheel in my grasp. I'm driving around to fill the void of what I do to that side. I'm kidding, but I'm trying to attempt to get back in the living. Dressing fly to draw attention, so chance to begin it. I just want a better half in my circle, so when I'm winning I can share the good news and maybe share some purple. But I can't even keep most of my peoples around me more than 6 years before they feel they get tired of me. Acting drowsy on return messages, something you would think ought to be effortless, but anyway, F this ish. If they listening, I doubt they're listening. Now I have never been more serious with this mission, and if you broke this link, don't think you can reattach. Get gone and don't forget to take this broken class. Cause I don't trust y'all, so I just drive. Striving for perfection, I think it on the side, but I gotta keep all 3 eyes on the prize. You know what I mean? Cause I don't trust y'all, so I just drive. Striving for perfection, I take it on the side, but I gotta keep all 3 eyes on the prize. Gazing into the sunset on the drive back home leaves me with assurance I'm not really on my own. I just have to keep the thoughts out. There's not much to talk about. I put my hours in daily after clocking out. When I got healthy, my mindset outgrew a lot of the foolishness I used to be privy to. That could be why I don't have the same circle. I pretend they never existed. It's less hurtful. I've just been working to continue to better my life, although I hardly see my future including a wife. Not by choice, but I'm a stubborn loner, stoner to the bone. No reality shows, mostly a Simpsons zone. And we can light some candles at midnight. I throw some funny shit on Netflix, that's as far as I go. I strive to keep it 100, Larry Wilmore, and I don't get the same, so don't question why I'm out the door. Cause I don't trust y'all, so I just drive. Striving for perfection, I think it on the side, but I gotta keep all 3 eyes on the prize. You know what I mean? Cause I don't trust y'all, so I just drive. Striving for perfection, I take it on the side, but I gotta keep all 3 eyes on the